Good day everyone, so I've been playing Genshin Impact for a long time and I thought, well, let's do an account review. I saw a video by I Want to Lose Gaming where he's like, here is my account and look how much I've spent and so on, so let's try and do the same here. And I'll be upfront and straight with you, in terms of how much I've spent on Genshin Impact, I don't know. The reason I don't know is because it really doesn't matter whether I should know or not, and I'll explain that a bit later in the video, exactly how I approach finances and really why to me it's kind of irrelevant. I'm not in any debt or anything. It's something I can easily afford. But in any case, so let's look at the account and where we are at. So obviously we've got Kokomi at Constellation 6. We've got all the talents and everything maxed out. The stats and stuff look a bit weird, but that's just because we are busy running a little Nilo Bloom optimized team and whatever. But yeah, Kokomi at C6R5. She was not my first C6 character. That actually belongs to Eula, and it is such a shame that Hoyo hasn't done more or put in more effort with someone like Eula, but that's just how things go. And I remember distinctly when Eula came out, there wasn't the whole epitomized pathing, so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna take the Tectone route and waste all my money to never get the weapon. So that's kind of how that story goes. But in any case, so with regards to other units, obviously we've got Nahida, C6, R5, Triple Crown, one of my favorite units. We've got Nilo here, a unit that is just so good. Again, C6, R5, Triple Crown. The trio of Nahida, Kokomi, and Nilo, to me, it's really been the thing that kept me like playing Genshin Impact, just how well these three characters work there. All of my favorite characters, these three, it's just so good. And obviously we've got Kirara that joined us recently, so obviously, okay, she's a 4-star, so easy C6, R5, Triple Crowned. So there's not much to say about that. I've got Ganyu as well. I've gotten just a normal Ganyu, Triple Crowned. I've used Ganyu quite a lot in the early game of my account, so she's been one of those characters that's been carrying me for quite a long while. I have not wished on the weapon banner for Amos Bow. I've gotten 2 of these just through the standard wishing banner or the standard banner, and yeah, we'll keep on continuing in that way. So there's nothing much I can say about Ganyu. Mona, obviously C6, yeah, because we've eventually, if you get a lot of other C6 characters, you eventually get Mona. There's nothing to say about Klee or Kazuha or Zhongli. Shenhe, again C6, R5, Triple Crown. Absolutely love Shenhe. What I don't love is that she's the most expensive unit I had on the game. But I mean, that's just how the RNG rolls. But in contrast to her, Ayaka was relatively cheap to get. So again, at 404 wishes, I got a C6 Ayaka, which was absolutely crazy. And yeah, I mean, this entire YouTube channel of mine literally started with Ayaka. Ayaka was the one that I used to do a lot of solo node damage runs with, and it was just absolutely amazing getting to know and use this character to like in such many different ways. So Ayaka is really near and dear to my heart. Absolutely amazing. The next unit, of course, is Yaemiko, the cheapest unit I've gotten. I've gotten 3 Yaemikos within 30 pulls. I even made a video about it, so it's crazy that she was, I think, legitimately about 300 and something wishes to get to C6. It's just crazy how super lucky I was. It was just insane. So yeah, Yaemiko C6, and again, I think even her weapon, I just won all of the 50-50 straight away. So Yaemiko, absolutely cheap, but also another big favorite. Raiden, more on the expensive side. If I remember correctly, 578 wishes, so quite more expensive to get her to C6. And then obviously she is Triple Crowned, because why not? Because she's just so awesome. Raiden is one of those characters a lot of people have thought that she's fallen off, but at a C6 level, this thing, Wishbearer, I'm still convinced that this is perhaps one of the stronger constellations in the game, because once you reduce burst cooldown, especially when you're running a Yaemiko and Raiden and Kuja Sora like core, it's just ridiculously broken. Kaching, nothing much to say. Obviously C6, I don't really use her that much. Yelan, the one character that came out that I defended, I really tried to tell people she is at C0. she's got so many utilities and stuff, and she's better at C0 than Xingshu. I know mathematically people will be like, oh my god, but the one does slightly more. It's like if you count the total sum of the utilities, she is such a much more of a complete package in my opinion. But yeah, I was very happy with Yelan, defended the character, and a week later everyone else caught up with it. But yeah, C6, R5, Triple Crown. Absolutely love Yelan. There's nothing, the combination of Yelan and Kokomi, that's all I run in the overworld. You have infinite heals, you have infinite damage, and it's just anything will die with 2 taps of this Yelan. It's just so bonkers. I've got nothing to say about any of the other units, so the only other notable thing that I want to mention is I'm busy building my Kujosara to be triple crowned. So no, I do not consider Bennett even worthy of getting a triple crown, or Xiangling, or any of these other units. Only units that I absolutely like. So Kujosara is going to be next on my list after Farina. So I've got the 3 crowns for Farina, and then obviously Kujosara. But yeah, that's more or less it for an account review. The rest of the characters are characters I didn't really play with, or I've gotten them, but there's nothing spent, nothing crazy or anything about them. So for me, the big thing is obviously Kokomi, and from a channel perspective, the amount of revenue I've made on YouTube has literally covered the expense of getting a C6 R5 Kokomi. So Kokomi herself has definitely paid, she's paid off herself effectively, if you can believe it. So that is pretty much the situation we're in. So let's then quickly talk a bit about finances whilst I play some background footage. So how I typically do my things is that obviously as someone with a master's degree and a couple of professional qualifications, working for a number of years in the investment industry, I've got a lot of cash and share options and all sorts of things. So from my perspective, I'm well off financially. What it means is that when I get, like for instance, my monthly salary and all the other little dividends and income payments, what typically happens is that a large portion obviously goes to tax, insurance, medical insurance, to food, household expenses. All of these things like tick off in terms of my little budget, including investments. So I actually put a chunk of my income into investments. So once all of those things are done and I've got no debts, I have like a residual amount, and that goes for me, part of it goes to an emergency account, a very small part, and then the rest of it goes to an entertainment account. That's where I buy stuff like movie tickets, or go out for a weekend with friends, or perhaps like once every 3 or 4 months I'll go to an hotel or something like that. But basically there's an account that I've got that is literally for sundry expenses, for entertainment and things like that, and that's basically the account that has funded a lot of my Genshin purchases. So that's why, in my opinion, there is no real need to talk about how much I've spent, because those are things that you expect to have spent. That's the whole point of having this little sundry or like an entertainment account. You're supposed to spend it. It's part of the budget. If you have a perfect budget, then obviously you want to have all your deductions and all of the little things, though, like little pocket change that you can spend, and you should be left more or less with 0 at the end of the month. And if you're not, then you just roll that over into next month. So that is basically how it went for me in terms of Genshin Impact. I haven't ever really overspent on any of the characters. All of them have been within my means and so on. So I'm pretty happy, and from that perspective, do I consider these things like wasted money? Not really. So before I played Genshin Impact, for example, in 2020, we had the whole pandemic and stuff, and I decided that after 5 years of not having a desktop PC, I upgraded. I've got a desktop PC that was at that time the equivalent of about how much was it? No, it was not 30, it was a $3,000-$4,000 like PC, but it's like a really nice PC. It's the same one that I'm still using and so on. So from time to time over my life, I've had stuff where I would spend like money on books and stuff right before Genshin Impact or other games, or like that's just how things have always been. So this has obviously been my main a hub of entertainment, and that's why I've also consequently spent the majority of the entertainment budget on stuff like Genshin Impact. It's been entertaining, it's well within the budget and cost, so there's nothing wrong with that. And obviously I can also then entertain you guys on YouTube, which I think is also really fun. It's really nice to be able to show you what these characters can do, how to play with them. And obviously I've got my other account as well, the C0 account, precisely to show you that no, I'm not just someone that can play with CC units and I don't understand the F2P experience, but I do get the F2P experience. So for me, stuff like quality of life, what characters can offer, especially if you have like 2 accounts, all of these things really matter, but we'll talk about that in an upcoming video. In any case, so that has been an account review. In case you're really interested, I really love this little Sangonomiya logo. That is absolutely one of my favorites. And yeah, I mean, overall, in terms of the account, a lot of the regions have been 100%ed and so on, so I've definitely been keeping up. So it's also fair to say that whilst I have a lot of characters at C6R5, a portion of that's also come from just like playing the game, getting currency in the game. I think a lot of people have this idea that you either whale or like you're completely free to play, but in reality a lot of these things are actually a mix. So for instance with Nilo, if you watch my YouTube video, I got an R1 C2, or was it C3 Nilo? Something we'll have to go and watch back at the video, but I got a C2 Nilo without spending a dime. It's literally just from playing the game, like saving up for quite a while. So in that case, you could arguably say that for some of these C6R5 5-stars, it's not the full cost even, because the game itself gives you a lot of currency, so we have to be fair in that assessment. In any case, that has been it for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. There are a couple of other little tips and tricks and secrets on this account that I do not reveal, obviously for security reasons, but other than that, that is pretty much an overview of this account and why it's been so much absolute fun. Alright, thanks for watching. Cheers.